Hello GearFacts friends, this morning we're checking out the Electribe 2S sampler from Korg. Let's fire it up. It's kicked off with a low battery warning there. Power in. Nice to know it has a battery option, that's awesome. Now that we're ready to get into this demo, I'm going to tell you from the outset, I'm not going to do any sampling on the Electribe sampler because it has a built-in synthesizer. Sampling has been covered extensively on YouTube and I don't think we need to go through that again. I've found that nobody's really talked about the built-in synthesizer oscillators, so let's do some of that. I'll pan down slightly here. As you've probably already noticed, we're plugged into a MIDI controller, and using channel transmit on the controller, we can transmit to any of these pads. So on pad 4, for example, we've got a sample. The first one, that's our synth oscillator, and if I get my keyboard to transmit on channel 4, then I've got access to that sound there. But like I said, for the purpose of this demo, we're going to stick to the first channel, and we're going to run through some of these oscillators. As with all good synths, we've got filter controls. And just scrolling over here a little bit, effects options as well. Let's try something, ring modulator. Delays. This is polyphonic, by the way. And the list of effects goes on. There are heaps of them. I think there's about 60 to choose from. And while you've got your keyboard plugged in, the touchpad will still work, and so will the buttons. Now we'll run through the 16 waveforms that we have. All very simple forms. So we just keep rotating the sample dial here. The first 16 entries here are all analog synthesizer sounds. We can control samples just like their synth sounds as well. And there are something like 400 really good samples included in the package. You can make your own direct to the unit, or you can import them using an SD card or USB. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to give you a slightly better view of the keyboard. Whoa. And we're just going to run through some of the more melodic samples and see what they can do. Weird. So, like I said, this can be really used as a synthesizer and you can get some great results. Korg have given us an extremely efficient and tight design here. As you can see, the device isn't much thicker than my finger, but we still have full-size TRS audio outs there, audio in if you're running an MP3 player or your phone into it or something like that. You can synchronize in and out with other clock-timed devices, and this is very interesting. I'm quite fascinated by these MIDI in and out sockets. I was using that keyboard through the MIDI in, so you connect your ordinary MIDI cable to this little adapter, and it becomes a 3.5mm MIDI in. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit amazed by that technology. I don't know how they make it work. Then we've got our headphone socket. I was recording through that, and it gets shipped with a 9-volt adapter. On the back, we've got our battery option. It takes 6 AA's and these awesome lights that change as I press various buttons there. I hope that demo was informative, Gear Facts friends, and I hope it filled in some gaps on information that you might have been trying to find about the Electribe Sampler 2S. Don't think of it as just a sampler or just a sequencer. It really does have that reasonably powerful and useful synthesizer inside. And once you add those filters and these effects, you can really get some very useful results out of that. And one little bit of trivia that I thought was worth sharing with you was that this is the first time I've created patterns on any device really. And then I've gone back and listened to it later on, and I couldn't tell if it was one of the factory patterns written by a professional or if it was one of mine. So I think we can summarize from that the Electribe Sampler 2S really brings out the best in your compositional capabilities. It's quite surprising what it can do. That concludes my demo for today, Gear Facts friends. Please like, comment, or subscribe.